Greetings, this is Jaz, and it's time to review Evolve, as made by Left4Dead 2 developers, Turtle Rock Studios. Functioning as an asymmetrical multiplayer-only game, there will be no real narrative of any kind, save the one-liners between characters and a small handful of pre-roll cutscenes.
That was some epic shit, man.
The setting, however, may just provide for the entire context you need. Situated on the planet Sheer are a nasty selection of indigenous predators. Deceptive rock monsters lie in wait to chomp upon unaware humans, whilst carnivorous plants make up for some of the game's dense foliage. The concept itself is dynamite. In a 4-man squad, players will control one of 4 hunter classes in the core hunt mode, whilst an opposing single player takes charge of the enemy monster. In pursuit of one humongous adversary, the hunters will actually want to track and kill the abomination as soon as possible. The monster will attempt to outrun players and sneak through areas in order to cover its own footprints and avoid flocks of birds that would go on to give away its location. The monster becomes stronger through feeding upon lesser monsters, thus evolving to the second and third final stage, in which the monster will have access to nearly all of its abilities fully upgraded. When this happens, the chances of killing the monster are very slim. At the other side of the field, an assault, support, medic, and trapper will each be responsible in carrying out their own role in absolute unison. The assault, of course, is charged with dealing as much damage to the monster as possible. The support and medic classes should buff allies with armor and health boosts. The trapper, on the other hand, will strive to slow the monster down, as well as imprison it in a massive dome force field. The tools available differ in accordance to what character you are playing. Maggie here is a trapper that can utilize her own harpoon traps, as well as follow her own tracking companion Daisy that should lead you to the monster's location. Once you unlock Griffin, you can instead shoot harpoons at the monster, as well as plant sound sticks that will detect the monster's close proximity movement. But at the same time, Daisy will not be available for this character. Characters are locked behind Evolve's progression system, but one hunter is not necessarily superior to the others. It's a matter of personal preference. Some abilities will stay the same for each character, such as the medic's health burst and support's power to stealthily cloak his entire team. The support role, however, could drastically change to instead buff a player's damage output as opposed to shielding his defense. His offensive weapons or tools will differ from automatic turrets, homing missiles, and the ability to track the monster via UAV. Mix and matching these characters and abilities provide for dynamic gameplay that swiftly becomes Evolve's main selling point. But at the same time, the experience is often chained to Evolve's biggest weaknesses. An imbecile of a tracker will neglect to deploy the mobile dome and stop the monster. The most moronic of players will instead lock their own players inside this force field for 60 seconds, whilst the monster is free to prance around the map and feed to its heart's content. If your team's vital medic is too stubborn to put the sniper rifle down and heal his squad members, you're screwed. The team is only as good as its weakest player, and whilst this may enforce a strong teamwork foundation, it does make for an essential requirement to play with friends. There are 3 monsters to choose from. Goliath functions as the slowest of the 3, but is able to withstand a lot more damage. Abilities include Charge, Rock Throw, Leap Jump, and Fire Breath. The Kraken is able to hover above enemies as well as shoot them from afar. Abilities include Vortex Strike, Lightning Strike, Electrical Mines, and an area-based aftershock attack. The Wraith is the weakest of the 3 and changes the pacing of direct confrontation into one of hit-and-run strategy. Abduction allows the monster to teleport a singular target away from the pack, allowing for one satisfying slapdown best used on the medic or trapper. Warp Blast again enables the Wraith to teleport to the targeted location and instead create a small explosion as a result. Supernova cages the Wraith and hunters caught within a devastating radius that buffs the monster with extra damage and attack speed. And finally, the Decoy ability will enrage players through utter confusion and bewilderment, as the real Wraith takes the initiative to batter players, or treat the distraction as a means to escape. The Wraith is often the most difficult to face, but a good team should be able to bring it down regardless at evolution stages 1 and 2. Bear in mind though that the Wraith may be patched now due to balance complaints. Once the monster is located and his movements are restrained, the team will be free to lay down the law through rocket barrages, tranquilizer darts, proximity mines, and so forth. When Evolve is alive and kicking, it is the most hectic, enjoyable blast of teamwork-oriented combat. The problem is that good monsters will successfully avoid all of this. The hunt hunters will run and run and run after its tracks, jetpacking all over the place, coordinating with their team to best cut the alien off. Whilst the jetpack climbing system may be solid, the monster is able to completely outrun and outmaneuver the team, sometimes driving the game round time up to a full 20 minutes. Evolve becomes less the case of tactical hunting, and more the scene for a mind-numbing fucking Benny Hill scenario that is played out to the monster's terms. 2/3 of the game become all too tedious as a result, consequently dead in comparison. The wildlife may at times break up the monotony, with monsters that ambush players, in addition to certain enemies offering special buffs once killed for both hunters and bastard monster to collect, but the majority of threats can be duly avoided. The maps are compact, yet in themselves well designed for Evolve's cat and mouse gameplay, including various bottleneck and trap points, through its mountainous caves and treacherous swamps that affect both humans and monster. Running on CryEngine 4, its environments can be glorious to look at, yet seem to blend into the same repeated formula of rocks, caves, foliage, rivers and puddles. Map-specific structures too are slightly underwhelming and for the most part irrelevant to the hunt and beaten paths of gameplay. But I won't knock the developers too much due to the inclusion of 16 maps that all work up to Evolve's mechanics. I just wish there would be a few memorable platforms that could host this madness, but sadly no map ever stood out to me. At the same time though, superb environmental weather effects are a massive eye-opener. Rain, smog and blizzards can be triggered for particular maps when playing Evolve's 5-match evacuation campaign mode, which supplements the core hunt with that of rescue, defend and nest game types. And what's really cool is that elements are randomly implemented against the loser of the previous match, including man-eating eels, teleportation gates, radioactive clouds, and an orbital space laser that periodically blasts the monster throughout the round. Most of these game modes still require the fundamental strategies of hunt, but with added stressors such as colonists to be rescued or killed, and generators to be defended or destroyed. The nest game types features a total of 6 eggs that the hunters can destroy to claim victory. The monster must prevent that from happening, as well as be sure to stay alive itself. However, the monster can hatch these eggs to fight alongside with what are effectively AI-controlled Goliath minions. Evolve can be played offline with AI bots to fill its player gaps, but the real fun takes place as a part of the online community. But how long does Evolve have before its player base will start to diminish? We can commend the variety found in 12 unique hunters that hold a fine selection of guns and abilities, even if the weapon models take up to 30% of the screen. But just 3 monsters, however, do not account for what is a full retail-priced AAA game. The only downloadable content currently available are the hunter and monster skins, which are purely cosmetic. I don't have a problem with this form of day one purchasable DLC. 4 new hunters, one for each class, will be introduced in the spring, priced $7.49 each. I would otherwise be apathetic to their cash-blocked arrival if the entire game was worth half its weight in content. 3 monsters are not enough, neither would an extra monster on top of that. The controversy I think surrounding Evolve's DLC is fueled by the announcement of the Behemoth monster, priced $14.99. But the thing is, the behemoth seemed to be ready in time to be included at launch. The concept to Evolve is by no doubt original and unique to change the rules of first-person shooting. Its multiplayer demands its players to leave whatever experience they've obtained in Battlefield and the likes at the door. Its teamwork coordinated chaos can lead to what is at times an excellent game that lets you fight the boss battle to end all boss battles. It's simply a shame that Evolve is nothing more than a series of awesome moments uncovered in 1 or 2 meaningful game types that often result in more downtime than action, chasing one of 3 monsters. I issue Evolve a 6.5 out of 10. This has been Jaz of Jaz Reviews. Stay tuned for more video game reviews. Next up, The Order.
I will not wish this life on my children.
If you haven't already subscribed yet, then what are you doing? Subscribe now to see all the more top 5 lists and reviews. For updates surrounding the exact schedule for each video, follow me all you want on Twitter, which can be found in the description below. If you'd like to see me cover a game releasing in the foreseeable future, please do let me know. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.